joints. Normal people are out eating breakfast at IHOP or Denny's. Let's see. Got to adjust that for my long legs. It's a problem when you got long legs, they always get in the way. Not for the set, I forgot. I'll load my bars. Unlike some pros, I think some of them are allergic to the metal, they don't want to touch it. Just the average day in Venice. A few criminals out there. Carjacking over there. A few homeless down there. Beautiful. Grams of carbs a day. I don't believe in going low carbs. I keep my carbs high and just do more cardio, so I find it easier that way rather than try and starve yourself and go that low carb route, which I find stupid. Pretty much just eat the same food right up until the show. I cut my water out the day before, but sometimes I might have higher carbs before the show just because the day before I might start eating junk food and stuff like that, so I guess I'd probably go higher carb, higher sugar and fat the day before the show, because pretty much when you're in shape it's not going to change, and I've had cheat days and the day after I look better, so normally the day before the show I pretty much eat what I want and just, go in the show the next day nice and full and a lot happier. I don't really have specifics. I might have steak and, some chocolate, then I might have some muffins, and I might have some cake and rice, and still have like diet food, but on top of that I'll eat whatever I get a craving for. So, when you're in that good a shape, or you're in shape, whatever you eat's not going to affect you the day before. That's why I always laugh when I hear people say they ate this or they ate that and they smoothed out. It's like, no, pretty much if you eat something the day before, you're not going to smooth out. So, they just weren't in shape to begin with, so it's just an excuse, because how many times you see guys who are in shape or a bit flat, they eat what they want, then it's always a day or two later they look better. So if you're in shape, you can eat what you want the day before. It's not going to affect you. I wouldn't go too much on the sodium, but, a lot of food I eat does have sodium in it, but I'm not really drinking any fluid, so I'm not really going to hold too much water anyway, so that just always worked for me that way, so I stick to it. from Chris Lund, Flex Magazine. And we're not going super heavy, so sometimes people complain that you don't go heavy, but 6 days before the Olympia I don't want an injury, so I'm not trying to prove anything today. That's just an excuse for them being weak. They use that as an excuse for being weak, and I hear that all the time when they're doing photo shoots. It's my low carb day, so I don't look as good today. That's just their excuse for looking like shit to begin with. It's like, they've always got an excuse. Why, how many times, I'm sure you know when you film them and photograph them, if you had $1 for every time someone said it's my low carb day, I'm not going heavy, or it's my low carb day, and you know, I don't look as good today, but you know, they're just all excuses. So you can think, okay, well maybe when your carbs up you'll look better, but you know, generally they don't. Pierce? The Valley? I went to CSUN. I graduated from CSUN. Very smooth machine. Not really. Some people say, you know, after winning a pro show, it gives you a little bit of momentum. But, you know, to me, every show is just as important as the last one, the San Francisco, the Olympia. You know, they're all new, different shows, so I don't rely on how I did in the past show to carry me through on the next show. It's like, you know, I could look good at San Francisco and not as good at the Olympia, but, you know, I should come in looking as good, if not better, at the Olympia. So I just take each show separately. I don't really try and think, you know, from one to the other. Because I did well here, I'm going to do well there. So you have different competitors, different judges, different lineups. So each show is always different till itself. I just aim for the top 10, and like I said, if I get top 10, I'll be happy. And then if I get top 6, anything from there up will be a bonus. So I'm not one of these guys who's got my mind set on, you know, top 3, top 4, whatever. It's like, you know, I've done all I can do. I've done my best, and whatever I get on the day is what I get. So that's all I can do. Yeah. It's hard to say, you know, a lot of guys were chasing the size, but the only thing that got bigger was their stomachs or wherever they put the oil in their body, so it wasn't like their overall appearance got much better. Even though they weighed more, they didn't look any better for it. So I think a lot of guys, you know, they look good at one stage and they're really ripped and look great, but then they try and get too much weight and they lose it. So I just go in looking the best I can do. I'm not really playing a size game or a symmetry game. It's like I just train for me, and whatever my body can do, that's what it would do. So I'm not trying to beat somebody else or trying to match somebody else's shape or symmetry or size. It's just, you know, I just try and match whatever I had last time. Yeah, I like it. You know, I train at home or I train at a gym occasionally as well. So it's like, you know, home's nice and quiet. No one bothers you. You can get in, get out, and do what you got to do. Sort of. I like it though. I've always liked the smaller gyms and stuff. I don't really need a lot of machines. I like a lot of basics, but you know, I've never. You know, it's nice and quiet, and like I said, I can just focus. No crazy music going on, so it's just, I don't know, nice and peaceful. It's closer to the fridge too when I'm finished training, so that's pretty good. I just signed with Twin Lab, on the, pretty much around the 1st is when we started talking, and it's all finalised now, so I'll be with Twin Lab for a couple of years, and they got a lot of new ideas coming out, because as you know, they used to be, you know, the leader in sports nutrition, and for a while they went mainstream and got away from it, but now they're coming. It's good to see everyone again. This time of year again, it's good to see everyone, you know, after recovering from my screwing at the Night of Champions. That should be good enough for 8th place or something. One more rep for number 9. One more rep for number 9. Oh. Might be good enough for 8th place. So, the way my placings drop every year, it's pretty good enough for 8th. Don't talk to me, I'm training for 10th place.